so now I have all edges are reduced. This has now become a hexaminx. I have pretty much a fancy shapeways printed hexaminx over here, and I'm going to solve it as such. So what I'm going to do then at this point is start getting all the edges in and get them in correctly. So you can see that this doesn't belong here. Now there is going to be all the same potential equivalencies here. So move this in over here, and I'm going to try to find an edge here. So I'm just going to be assembling this brick by brick, mortar by mortar, and finding where this can come in over here. And it might not even come to this side. It might actually be one of these guys here, but we'll see. All right, so this belongs over here, but this is wrong in configuration with this green side here. So what I'm going to do is pull this out. And now find the correct place over here. It's obviously not here. This isn't where it needs to be. Move it here. Nope. It's going to be amongst these little places here. Perhaps here. Okay. So this is correct over here. Now, what I can do is maybe abandon from here and just do it with a green. The reason why I say that is because I've already got this in and I've got this edge in place. Now, this edge over here, these edges, you know, the definition of an edge is it puts two centers together. So this is going to be at the same colored center. So it's going to be at the green one over here. So what I'm going to do to variate this a little bit, if I wanted to make this the correct one, is move this over here. And actually this is going to have to come across over here. So you can see this joins this, which means that this does not belong here, or it could, but this is going to belong over here. So let's turn this around now so that we can make that happen. Because ultimately what you wanted to see is this slowly come together as a gigaminx, or slowly come together as a hexaminx. So now you've seen this degree of order out of the chaos. Okay, so we like that. This is okay here, this is okay over here. I'm going to have to find a different green and orange. And now I'm just going to wheel this guy around like so. All right, so this is in, all these edges are in. Let's wheel this small white into the small areas here, so I can visualize this a little bit better regarding there. So this goes fine over here. Turn this around in here, and okay. So this one does not belong here, it belongs here. But I don't want to get confused. Remember, this isn't my side that I'm working on. This is the side. This is my modded side that I'm using, so I don't want to mess that up. So this, then I know must go over here. So I'm just going to put that in place. Line it up with the correct center. Move it in. Now I just have to go abracadabra. So now this is in 1, 2, 3, 4. I got one more to go here, which is going to be green and orange, which is this one. So these are small areas here. I'm going to line it up with the small areas here. See if it just falls right in. It does. Does this fall right in here? And it does. Okay. So believe it or not, I've got the edges of my first side, and the way that I do this with layer by layer is I'm just going to put corners in. So green, orange, well, I can put in the small triangle over here. That's going to be easier. So why don't I do that? Bring this down here. Turn this down. Move this in. Oh, not ready to go yet. Turn this up, bring it down, move it across, not ready to go in yet, bring this up. This is a variation of the RIDIRDs, so I'm using just cube strategies for a dodecahedron that looks like a cube. Okay, this is over here. Now, here's a green, orange, and yellow, which obviously is going to come over to here. So let's see, I think we're in the wrong layer here. Okay. Turn RI, DI, R. Don't have to do the other D, but there it is there. Now the thing that's the most confusing about the hexaminx is to not be fooled into thinking that this is my side. I've got to keep my perspective right. So here is another green, but I don't know if this green does not go with this side. This over here, this is going to actually take this triangle over here. So we're going to move this in. RIDI, RDs, all that good stuff. So now we just have a hexaminx challenge, which is interesting too. Turn, turn, aha, and turn. And that's going to be here. So I think we can just bring this down, turn, turn, and up. And now we have another little green triangle. Did we get lucky? Does it happen to be here? Nope. That's okay. It's right over here. So now I'm quite aware of where all the edges go. Okay, this is one that's hardest to visualize, is between the two. So that's actually... moving it into here is a little bit of a challenge. Okay, I got to move it over here. See, already perspective is a little difficult. Aha. Turn. 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 And up. And we keep going. Too much of the other side was done, so it got me a little confused. And there. Okay. So believe it or not, of my 12 sides, I have one in, and this is my side. This is my hexaminx side. So now it's a matter of, and this is the part that takes the most concentration, figuring out, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put, because I have the corners in of the side, I'm going to put the edges in using that algorithm. So this edge, which one is it? Well, it's obviously not this one. It's going to be the one that has the dominant color is going to be yellow. The non-dominant color is going to be orange. So let's find that somewhere. So the question is, will this roll into here? Yeah, so no, actually it won't. So I have to do this because this could be the wrong one. I've got other pieces that are the same color, but the wrong shape. That gets that in. Now if I set this up here, if I move this to here, will this be correct? And the answer is no, that won't be correct either. So to get this out, I need to find the white, the correct white and yellow. Here's another one, white and orange rather. Okay, now, how about this guy? Does this guy have promise? Well, if I put this over here, will this come down to here correctly? And yes. Okay, so this is a roundabout way of saying that this is an edge. I need to put this edge in here to free this one up. So, U, R, UI, RI, UI, FI, U, so see this matches up in F. Basically what this algorithm does is it allows placement of edges without destroying the corner. That's all that really does. All that UI, FI, all that business. It's when you want to place this and not destroy that. So now that this is out, or this is in where it needs to be, this was taken out. So now I'm going to put this where I wanted to put it. Over here. So if I go over here, now I know that just by faith, this should be able to come in. So bang, so that's okay over there. Okay, so again, placing this without messing up the corner, same algorithm. You can use this on the Rubik's Cube too. U, or Gigaminx, Megaminx, R, then reverse it, UI, RI. Keep going with that, UI, FI, then U and F. So that put that here. So this is in, and again, don't lose perspective, we're putting in edges. This is in, I'm just tracing all around here. And this is in, what about here? Something's supposed to go here. Well, it's obviously not this. You can see that this is an edge piece that just doesn't belong. So what I'm looking for is this edge piece over here. Now this has equivalency. This can just make it its way down here. UI, LI, U, L, U, F, UI, FI. So you can see that that overhanging edge is no longer there, so that's here. Again, keep perspective, keep your eye on the prize. This is the center about which I'm turning around. So this is in, and now I'm looking for U, R, UI, RI, UI, FI, U, and F. Now, as we're putting this in, it is going to make it harder, believe it or not easier, because you can see this side, the pseudo-side is starting to get filled in. But that's going to confuse me because I might end up working on the wrong thing. So this edge was here. Again, I'm tracing around this. I'm orbiting around this center. This is not collectively a center. Now we do this one, which is green and yellow. So gigaminxes are endurance events as is, but now combine it with all this, and what you have is you have an entire happening. Turn, 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 and down. Okay. Wow. What do you think? Okay, so this is okay. I now have all the edges in. So which step am I at now? So what I actually did when I did this is the equivalent of, and I'll find the green side, this. I just did the equivalent of solving this side by solving these over here. So these two were one and the same. And what I also did is I put in these edges over here. So basically, I did the equivalent of solving this side and putting in these edges all around. So I really did the equivalent of solving this layer over here by all of these. So now what do I do next? Well, the next part, once you do this, is we're actually going to have to do these guys. Now remember, I put this in, and then put the corner in. If you thought that was tough, watch how I try to do that with this puzzle, because now I have to do that while maintaining perspective. So here's the here's the center over here. So what I'm going to need to do is, with let's get our perspective back here. With this on the bottom, I'm going to be doing the equivalent of putting these guys in. So I have to take the center here, and I have to remember the centers over here, and that's what I'm combining together. So taking the center, I'm now going to be combining the ones on these centers over here, coming down from here. So it's this center that I'm going to be working on, the red, and it's going to be juxtaposing the edges between the green and the yellow. That's what I have to bear in mind. So say this is going to be a dominant yellow and a non-dominant green, just because of where they are. So here's a red and yellow over here. And this is going to come across here. And this is just by way of demonstration. Here's one here as well, which might work. Now I have to make sure that this is rotated correctly as well. So this over here, this long edge is going to be pointing to the small edge over here. So it's actually going to be facing down like this, because this will make sense. every small edge is pointing towards a large edge. So it's not going to be like that. It would have to be like this, because that would land these small pieces here lining up with these larger ones, these small ones lining up with these larger ones. So now that I know the organization, I'm going to see if I can't put some of these in. So I'm going to move this like so, bring this down, and you can see that this doesn't really match up so good. So that's not going to be the correct one. I'm going to have to find another red and orange piece, which is here. So actually it's right here. This is it. So I'm going to have to move this out of the way, bring this down, say, move this here, and move this here. This is what I mean by concentration. So this is fine here, and I'm moving this down like so. Okay, so you can see that this matches up fine over here. This is all okay. Now this is going to be a non-dominant green and dominant red, which is here. So I'm just going to move these into place and see if first off this is the correct one. So I'm going to wheel this up. Now this represents the top layer, like over here. This represents the top layer that I can move around. And actually I'm going to have to go like this, move this down. As you can see, that does not line up with this, so this is not the correct one. So I'm just going to scan around and I see it over here. So I'm going to move this one to the top, all the while hoping I'm not destroying anything. Okay, move this here, bring this down, and it's good. Okay, now I'm going to move this down here. Now in this particular case, I happen to have the corner one that was in place. Otherwise, I'd have to bring it up here and do my RIDIRDs in order to bring that in. So I just got lucky with this. And you can see we're almost done with our first pseudo-side, which just might make things confusing. So with this, I did a juxtapositioning of, with the red, a juxtapositioning of these two centers for this. Now as I move around here, the next one is going to be this guy, juxtaposed between these two. So move it into place. Because I have two of the same color, it's going to be like this. So this one is going to be easier. I'm just going to put this one in. Move this to the top. Set this up around here. And then move this same color one in like so. And wheel it down. Okay, now that I have this, juxtapose it between these two, and that's going to be dominant orange, just like this guy. So I'm going to move this up to the top. Like so. Move this out of the way and very quickly bring this back down. All right, now this is going to have to end up over here. So that means I'm just going to move this out of the way and then wheel this up until this is in where it needs to be. Because I don't even know if this is the right one. Line that up with the top, like so. Move it in, and this is good. Wheel it down. Okay, so you see these are good. Now this is going to be the little yellow one, which will be this guy here. So I'm just going to move this corner to the top, like so. Quickly bring that down. Okay, so this represents, okay, this represents my top area here, or is it this? It gets a little confusing. But in any case, this comes to the side, like so, and just like with the Gigaminx, I'm going to move this up here to the top, and then do my RIDIRDs so that until this comes down to here. It's a way of doing this without messing anything else up. RIDIRD. Okay, so this is in, and now we just wheel it down. So now that's in. So now I have the proper juxtapositioning of this guy. So we have this over here. We just put these two in relation to each other with this as the center in question. Now I move around, and this is where things are going to get a little more confusing because now I have to match these two with this center. And what this is going to be is they're both going to be the same color, right? They're both going to be blue and orange. At least it'll make it simple in that I won't lose any of that. So this blue is the top blue. This is not the top color. So this will move in over here, and then we'll have to put this in the right way. So we'll find the two purple, or blue rather, and oranges. We've got one over here. So just shimmy this one up here and see if this one works. It does, so I can bring that down for orientation purposes. And now the other one, which is right over here, move this to the top. Bring this back down before anything gets messed up. Turn this over here, and now just to get myself oriented again, at least move this into the right position. Just like this. Okay, so we're going to notice we have almost this first pseudo-side solved. So with this being the top, what I'm going to do is find the orange one right here. Ooh. So move this to the top. Go like this, go like this. Now I move this off to the side, like so. Move this guy up to the top layer so it's at the same layer. And now with this corner, RIDI, RDing it into submission. RIDI, RD, and luckily it only took one, so down we go. Okay. So this is all in, and now we just have these two with this white one. So white and orange, this is going to be oriented like this. I can easily find the white one. That doesn't take too much thought. It's right over here. And move it down. Now I already see this guy. This is the other white and blue. And turn. And now we're going to get this one in place by turning this like so. And now I'm done with all the equivalent pieces, so it is what it is. Well, no, I've got another one here, so this might not actually work. Let's see if it does, and it does. Okay, so that's in. I just have to find the corner, and the corner is another white one over here. Move this out from the top. Bring this up here. And not getting lost, we'll go ahead and roll this into this guy here. RI, DI, RD, didn't quite hit the mark, RI, DI, RD, and finally, I think, RI, DI, yep, RD. Okay, and now we move this down. Okay, so even just a mundane thing like this step is a challenge. Now we're left with the juxtaposition of these two with the red one. Now I'm taking a couple of cognitive shortcuts. If this ever gets mainstreamed, I can show you exactly what I'm doing, but in any case, you can see that this is correct. Now I need to find the red and green. This down like so. And bring it in. And of course, let's not forget to move this back, or else I'll screw something up. Anyway, now I need to put this corner. This is an actual corner here, red, green, and white. Red, green, and white is right over here. So move this just off to the side. Bring this up. And now RIDI, RD it into submission. RIDI, mercifully it just took one. RD. Now, this is a banner moment here, and here's why. I move this down. Oh, no, not quite yet. I was going to say we finally have our first side completely done. But don't let that fool you. That might serve to confuse. Keep your orientation that this is our top side here. Because now what we have is everything seems to be in. Now we need to get the corners in. I'm going to do this corner first because that'll finally finish this side over here. So I'm looking for the green triangle, little green triangle. Actually, I'm sorry, red triangle. It's right there. So we're going to move this red triangle up. And now just keep RDing it once again. Not quite yet. I'm going through this process because this is an epic puzzle. This is a landmark puzzle. It would be a shame to not go through this part. Okay, finally this whole side here is done, and now we just have to start filling in gaps and putting in corners. So what corners still need to be put in? Well, this one is here, but it's not correctly oriented. So let's move it to the top. Turn, turn. And again, now it's a little difficult to bear in mind that this is a dodecahedron. And it's not a cube. Can't look at it like that. If I do, I'm going to start messing sides up and doing things in the wrong order. So this is a corner that I'm putting in here. Aha, and down. Okay, let's pick up some scraps here. What I'm looking for is not these corners, but these corners. I'm looking to fill those in, and I'm wondering if I've got them all. And this is generally the easiest layer of your dodecahedron, face-turning dodecahedron solves. So now I'm at this step, putting these guys in. I think. So yeah. So I'm going to move this over to here, and this is going to come down to here with that algorithm. U, R, UI, RI, UI. Be careful what your F is. FI, so this matched into here. UF. Okay, so that's in over there. We're doing pretty well. Turn and turn. Okay. This. Okay, now we're at that final glowing moment of the actual last layer. So you can see that we have what appears to be a fully formed Gigahexaminx, except we're just kind of smashed here at the top. We've got this top part that's kind of smashed around. So now I have to work on putting this in. Well, we know the algorithms, it's the same as this. What we want to do is flip things right side up if they're upside down. So this is right side up. This you can tell is upside down. This is upside down. This could be either or. This is our swing vote over here. It could be either or basically. So this I'm going to say is right side up. It has to be. If this is right side up, if these guys are upside down. So basically I'm going to turn it here. Now again, keep perspective. This is our up over here, and this guy here, this is our F. So this side is buried with this side over here, but this side still exists as an independent entity. I just have to make sure that I've got pieces lined up correctly. So we're going to do it based on that and do F, R, U, and swing it on back with RI, UI, FI. Okay, and let's see where things are at right now. Right side up, right side up, right side up, upside down, upside down. So this kind of makes that arrow thing that I was talking about. These two are joined together. So we have once more, F, R, U, and then swing it back with RI, UI, and FI. So now everything is rotated up. The blues are all facing up, so that's good, I think. And now we see that this one is in place, and this one is in place also. So remember what this algorithm is going to do, the R, U, R, U, R3, U, RI. We did something like this when we were putting the centers in so long ago. What this is going to do is it's going to hold this one steady and this one steady. And if I were to rotate these in the right place, I want this to come over here. But I'm not going to be able to do that if I hold it over here with this in front of me. So what I'm going to have to do is, well, I got to remove this from here, and I want to bring this to here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and do the algorithm because I need to free this up. I need to get this out of this space. If I do it over here, this will be locked in. So I'm going to go R, U, RI, U, R, 3U, 1, 2, 3. just matching up the corners, Ri. Okay, why did I do that? Well, I did that so that I can blast this out. Now this is kind of confusing to me. What belongs here? It's not this, it's actually this. Okay, so here's what was confusing about that. It looked like this stayed the same, but it actually didn't. This stayed the same. These two are, this actually moved over to here, and whatever was here moved here. So basically, this is not the same red and blue. But now that I have that, if I hold it over here, this will stay the same, and I'm going to keep doing this until this guy comes over to here. So we have R, U, Ri, U, R, 3U, 1, 2, 3, and Ri. And do it once more. R, U, Ri, U, R, 3U, 1, 2, 3, Ri. Okay, so the plan worked. This is in and this is in. Now I just have to do the same thing with these guys. So again, Hexaminx strategies and Ri. And we did it. We're so close you can sense it. But this is in, this is in, this is in, this is in. So now it's just a question of corners. And this is done similarly. Are there any that's actually in? And the answer is no. Now notice we have 2 over here, so we got to be careful about that. So what I'm going to do is that same algorithm, and this is going to keep these 2 where they are. So I'm going to whip them around until these guys, until the one that's supposed to be here is correct. And that's going to be 2U, R, 2UI, Li, 2U, Ri, 2UI, L. And then we see what we've got. We see that this is in place, which is good. This appears to be in place. This is not, and this is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across over here. This is the front face. This is the top face. This will be right, and this will be left. I hope. I don't know. I'm kind of running out of perspective here. But let's try it and see what happens. It should hold these 2 check. So we have 2U and R. To UI, Li, to U, Ri, to UI, L. Now let's see what that did. And thank goodness that actually put everything where we wanted it to be. So this is good, and this is good. This is the real challenge. Now, I still may mess this up within the last few moments and the last few seconds of this. So let's see if we can get those in. These just need to be rotated. So we're going to be RIDing it into submission. So if this is the top face over here, and this is the front face, this would be R over here. So we'll take it down and do RI, DI, R, D, RI, DI, R, D. Now don't panic. We will wheel this around to here. And now we RI, DI, RD this one and see if it works. RI, DI, R, D, RI, DI, R, D, not yet, keep the faith, RI, DI, R, D, and I think one more should do it, RI, DI, R, D, and aha! We have it for the first time on the internet stage. The the YouTube stage, we have a solve of a Gigahexaminx. Very challenging. Not that it's much different from this. We did have to variate our strategies with the last two centers a little bit, but nothing that we couldn't reason our way through. Perspective was the key. When you translate something like this to something like this, it really does cause a lot of, well, higher order planning and strategy. And what's more, it takes its seat next to this over here, and you know how much I love series and various series of different puzzles. So if there is a hexaminx, a gigahexaminx, maybe, just maybe, we will someday find our way to a 2x2 layer version or a tera hexaminx at some point. Time will tell. Who knows what I'll pull off the shelf next. Anyway, thanks for watching.